is it not starting? All right, looks like the stream is up. And make sure we are good to go. And it appears it is. Let me check my audio. Looks like my audio is working correctly. So let's get to it. We just get everything set up over here. So things are straight. We are on. Let's about that. Okay, so thanks everyone for checking in today. What we're going to do is we're going to take this project. Where did it go? This is a application that I built a while ago, where I basically took the demo application that you see here inside of, where is this, right here, this first Ionic View app. And one of the things I see people often talking about is how do I integrate it to Facebook? I mean, not Facebook, Firebase. Firebase is a platform or backend that a bunch of people like to use. So I said, let me just quickly throw Firebase in there and show people how to save their data to Firebase. I took the easy way out, and I just took the Base64 string and I saved it in a document, which is not really a recommended approach. iPhones, Android devices today take huge pictures. You end up with these huge strings that you're basically storing in a document that you're probably querying often just to render in a list. So the approach that I normally take is I will create a separate collection that has the base information about the photo, and then inside of that I'll have a link to the actual photo, which is stored in the Firebase, what's it called, in Firebase Storage. So the idea is in Firestore you save information about the file, and in Firebase Storage you actually save the file and you connect the two together. So what we're going to try to do in this demo today, or in this live stream today, and as I said, this is my second live stream, so bear with me. What we're going to do in this live stream today is we're going to just modify the same base application, which is what I have running here. And we're going to create a collection called photos. In that, we're going to store base information about the file. And then we're going to save the actual file to Firebase Storage and reference back to it. We'll also show two different ways to render it. Right now, the information only shows up here in photos. I kind of put the basic code in. We'll just have a list of information here. And then also to kind of wrap things up, I'll show how to actually delete the document from the Firebase collection and also delete the document from Firebase Storage. Thanks for those of you who are here now. Thanks for stopping by. Please make sure you like and subscribe, share with your friends. It's always nice to get more people checking out my content. And the other thing is, where is my link? I think, hold on. The other thing is that I am, after the first of the year, I'm probably going to start changing how I'm delivering content. There'll be a combination of content that is delivered free, and there'll be a set of content that's only delivered to people that are on my mailing list. So I'm pasting my mailing list link in the chat. So please make sure you sign up for my mailing list. Signing up for the mailing list is how you get access to all the information about the courses, the progress I'm making on my ebook, and updates to the videos. So if I'm just going to hop right into the code based on where we were last time. So if you're not familiar with where we were last time, where's this link? If you're not familiar with where we were last time, then I suggest you, hold on, let me find this other link. Bookmark and go back to the previous video, which is linked in the description of this video. All the source code is online and is available. And when I finish making the modifications to this solution, the source code for this will also be online. So let's get to it. For those of you who are coming over from Angular or some other platform, in VueJS, they have this concept called Composables. The best way that I would explain it is that it's very similar to a service, but you can also just create some plain services, and that's what I've done here. I have a Firebase service where if we go down to what I return, you can see the key functions that I'm supporting here. I can load all the photos, I can get a specific photo, I can save a photo, and I can delete a photo. What we need to do is kind of modify how you're actually saving photos in two ways. As I said, once we want to save one to a photo collection, and the other one we want to save to file storage. So that'll be the major change you make there. And then in my tabs, the old way of doing this here was it's in use photo gallery. See, what they're doing here is this kind of checking what platform you're on and then converting the file to a Base64 string and then saving the Base64 string. What we want to do is we want to actually we want to just treat it as a blob. It's as simple as that. We're going to take the blob, we're going to pass it to our saved file function, and then we're going to write it all out. So let's start by modifying the way that save picture works and the data that we're actually saving with save picture. All right, so let's go into, obviously I've done all this before just to make sure that things don't kind of blow up in the middle of the live stream. So I'm 99% certain that the work that I'm about to do is actually going to work again. But if it doesn't, we'll just kind of figure it out on the fly how to get things going. So first things first, I'm going to install an npm package that will allow us to convert the Base64 string to a blob, and it's called Base64. Let me see, did I get it? I think I typed it wrong. npm install Base64 array. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to take the string that we're getting back and we're going to convert it to a blob. There's a bunch of other different ways to do it. There's some ways you can write it to the file and then read the file back, but I found this library online yesterday and it seems to do what we want to do. So we come in here into this save picture, and we're going to remove all this because I don't need to do any of this anymore. Really here, this is where I want to convert the file. So we start out by converting the file by, we need to get this decode function. First, I like to be thorough. So this is the library that we're using, Base64 array buffer. Seems pretty popular. One of the things I like to do is when I use libraries, I want to make sure that they're being used by a lot of people. There's a lot of people using it, so I'm pretty confident that it's up to date and that it's solving the problem that it needs to solve, and there's not a lot of issues with it. So I'll also include this link below too. All right, so let's get that back over there. So now basically what we want to do is decode a Base64 string into an array buffer. So we've now imported it at the top of my Firebase service. And now we go into my save picture, and here inside of save picture, we are going to, so this function doesn't get too crowded. We're going to create a new function to convert the string. So let's go here. So basically what we're doing is we're going to convert a Base64 string to blob. We're going to pass in the string that we get off the camera photo. So let's do this. We want a blob back. A blob is what we're looking to get at the end of all of this conversion. And the way you solve that is this. I'm going to just paste this code in, and then we'll kind of walk through what's happening in it. So convert Base64 to blob. Okay, let's format this so we can kind of see what's going on. Let me close this on the side here. Let me check every now and then to make sure I don't have anybody commenting or asking me any questions. All right, we're good. So we're going to convert this Base64 to blob. We'd get a string passed in. It could be a string or undefined, and then we want to know what the format is. We're creating a promise, which we will be returning. So let's put return on there. Resolve reject. If I don't get a data passed in as a string, I just want to reject it flat out and pass a null back. Otherwise, I'm going to take and create a blob based on the array that I get passed in here. sorry, base of the string. So I'm calling this decode function, and the decode function will take the base64 string, convert it to a array of bytes, then convert it to a blob, and then we're going to set the image format, which we also pass in based on the photo. And then on success, we resolve and we pass the blob back. So that's our convert base64 string. Here we get our blob, so we say const blob. And then here we're going to say convert base64 to blob, and then our string photo dot base64 string, and then I believe photo dot format should give us what we want there. Let me move this speaker closer because my fan is starting to make some noise. Pay all this money for this computer and it still seems to spin up too often. Okay, so this is asynchronous, so we want to await. That's async there. We're going to wait for the response from the blob, and then once we get the response from the blob back, we're changing what we're passing here. Also, I don't know why we say file name, file name. We can kind of shorten this. We could shorten this to say blob. And so now we are going to take the picture. So I need to change my camera because I want to make sure that it returns a blob instead of a data URI. So where is this guy's copy find? Camera. All right, so we want this to be a base64 string. So now the photo will return a base64 string instead of a data URL. We're defining the file name. Now we're calling our save picture function with the camera and the file name. And then let's go up to our save picture. Inside of save picture, we're going to get the blob from taking the base64 string. And then we're going to create this object save file. Let's clean this up even more. Let's take this out of here, put this in here. So now things are a little bit cleaner. So now it looks like we have this front end changed. Now the problem is that save photo is expecting some different data. So let's hop into our Firebase service and see what we got going on there. I'm going to make sure I save my tab. Let's open this guy up, go to my Firebase service. Okay. Since we're doing a little bit more on save photo, we're going to extract this out as a normal function. So on save photo. We can already assume that this is going to be asynchronous. And then what we want to do is we're going to take this out of here. And this will be the last thing we return. Oh, that's the wrong one. That back, delete photo. I want to write the collection data here. So let's copy this out of here. And then do a wait. And then, is that right? Photo collection data, yeah, save photo. Then let's take this, put this in here. And then so now we're just going to return the save photo. So I can take this guy and go like this. All right. So what do I got? Save photo, file name, blob. What? Void is not assignable to type boolean. Void. Is this guy not returned something? Save photo, save photo. All right. It's a return issue. So let's go back up to use photos, save photos. Async promise boolean. This is expecting boolean to come back from save photo. Does return a boolean. What? Proposal type void is not assignable to type boolean. Save photo. All right, let me go back to my save photo. Sorry. Let's close this out. Well, let me finish the coding and then we'll try to see why this guy's complaining. Okay. This is, so let's return. Okay. So as I said before, this is just writing to the photo collection, and we don't want to write all of this data that we're getting directly to the photo collection, because actually what we're getting is I go back to, let me close the tabs I don't need. So I don't need that, don't need my environment, don't need my index, don't need my tabs. Okay. But what I do need is I'm passing in a file name and a blob. So let's change this guy right now to my Firebase service. Let's just say any for now to keep it simple. Okay, so let me just check. I don't have like multi-screen UI here, so every now and then I gotta switch over to see what's going on in the chat to make sure there's nothing that I'm missing. Okay. All right. Oh no, this was right. This was right. It is just data, but I want to not change how I pass it in later. So data. What we're gonna need. So we need to do two things here. First, we need to upload the file. Upload Blob, and then we want to write to collection. Okay, and then what we want to write to the collection is we really only care to write file name, which we will get from data.filename, because let me make sure I'm spelling this right. Yeah, file name. And then down here, we gonna write upload data. Because what we're gonna do is this function that we're gonna create here, const upload data. And so we're going to create a new file, upload file. And then to this guy, that doesn't make sense. To upload the file, we need to pass it the data. Because specifically, we want all the file information from there. Let's format this. And then we will pass, so then we get the collection response. And then if that's straight, I think all we really want to pass back is, we don't care if this is written. The important thing we want to pass back to the parent is the response from uploading the file. Because if this fails, it'll throw an exception. So here we're just going to return. And what we'll do is we'll step into the debugger after it's all done so you can see the difference. And then up here, let's create our upload file function. Then async, of course. And then this is going to upload the file, and then on success, it's going to send us back the appropriate information. Yeah, on success, it's going to send us back our appropriate information. So, upload file. Let's put this data in here. Excuse me. Okay. I'm getting some lint errors about style, so let's use that better. Okay. So let's take a look at the Firebase documentation. Most of the stuff we're doing here is coming straight from the documentation. We're just making some minor modifications. So if you look at the Firebase documentation, we're going to upload a file. And to upload from a file or blob, you could just call a put. So let's scroll all the way down. Where do they have they have the full example. So here's kind of the code we're literally going to cut and paste and move over, right? And I'm just going to walk you briefly what's happening here. Once you create your upload task, the task fires off events and you can listen for the events. And then based on responses you get from the events that are fired, we take specific action. We're going to do a couple of things. A, we're going to get this progress information and pass it back so you can create a progress bar. B, clearly we need to listen for any errors. And then C, on complete, we want to kind of get the download URL and return success. So I've taken a modified version of this and kind of got rid of the functions and used the fat arrows and kind of removed a bunch of this other stuff in here because we're not handling pausing and resuming. But this is the basic approach. It's a full example straight from the documentation. Not a lot of stuff you need to figure out because a lot of it's already provided for you. So let's start at the top. Since what we want to do is we want to return a promise at the top level. So return promise, return new promise, and then this promise has a resolve, reject. Let's kind of wrap this guy. And clean that up. So now we get a promise back from my upload file, which is nice to have. Then, like I said, we're copying what the Firebase documentation says. We'll walk through it. So we need to get a reference to the storage. And then we have our upload task. And then if you remember this data that we're getting passed in, it has two objects. It has a file name and then it has a blob. Do I want to get crazy? Can I do this? No, I'm not getting crazy and do that. Let's get out of that. Back. We're going to keep it simple here. So what this is saying, give me a reference to the Firebase storage, and then as a child of that, in an image path, we're going to take the file name that we get passed in from the data, and then that's where we're going to take the blob, and then that's where we're going to save it. We're using the type that was passed to us from the blob, so we'll set the content type as the additional metadata. And then now I have this upload task, right? So this upload task is, let's go back to the documentation, is this guy. And we're going to listen, as I said, we're going to listen for some specific events. We're going to listen for an error, and we're going to listen for success. Now, if you hover over this guy, there's a couple of different ways you can do that same thing. And so if I say upload task, is it going to give me what I want? It's not. So I'll put the code in and then I'll explain it. So you can do this. So is that right? Const promise. Where's my promise? Oh, this needs to go out. All right. This guy needs this. And then this promise needs this. And then this needs this. So, okay. So, let's see. All right. So here's the documentation how this upload task on thing works. Now, if you scroll all the way down here, basically what it says is, with this upload task, you get a next, you get it on error, and you get a complete handler. And this is the approach we're going to take. On next, we're going to listen for progress. On error, we're going to reject it and throw an error back. And on complete, we're going to get the download URL. And then we're going to return the upload data back to the caller. So this is exactly what we've done. So let's change this. Did it automatically? Let's import. We need to import Firebase Storage. So VV storage. Okay. And then you could say we'll circle back around to get that error later. Where did I go? Upload file. Let's put a comment in there to get some separation to kind of make it easier to read this. Okay, so let's go through these one by one. So next is going to get called every time too. And what we're in the snapshot object that we get, this Firebase upload snapshot, it gives us back the bytes transferred and the total number of bytes altogether for this file it's trying to upload. And what I'm going to do is I'm keeping track of that in a new ref I'm going to create up here. Where are my refs at the top? Progress. Initially set it to 0. And so what will happen is that since it's a reference, it is, let's get back to my upload. Every time I set this value, and I'm going to pass this back, progress. If I'm trying to render progress in my UI, I will force the UI to re-render. I'm going to take this progress value and pass it to an ion progress. Is that what I think it's an ion progress that gives you a little progress bar across the top. I'm going to pass that value back so that we can see the progress being made as I'm uploading the file. So on next, that's all I want from on next is to take the total bytes transferred divided by the total bytes, and it will give me a decimal number, and I will use that decimal number as a way to show progress as the file is getting uploaded. The next part is the error. If an error occurs, we want to reset my progress back to 0. And then we want to throw the error message back with the reject. And then the last one is complete. And there's a little bit more going on in complete, so I'm just not going to just drop the whole thing in at once. It's asynchronous because we need to make an asynchronous call, and the first call we need to make is get download URL. This is the URL for the object in Firebase Storage, and that's what we're going to use to render the image. So the first thing we want to do is get the URL. The next thing we want to do is we want to get a bunch of metadata from the upload when it is completed. So when the upload is completed, I can look at the snapshot ref. I can get the full path of where it's stored. I can get the name, I can get the size, and the time it was created. This is the information we want to store in a document collection while the image is stored in the storage. Okay, so that's what we have here. And then the last thing we want to do, of course, is we want to set our progress back to 0. And since we're working internally here, we have to use value. So that will reset our progress. And let's put a comment. And then we want to resolve. So we're going to send all the good stuff back to whoever called me. All right. So now I think this is good. We'll run it all and then try to step through and debug it. So now here in Save Photos, I'm calling my upload photo. I pass the data. I'm getting back my upload data. I'm saving my upload data to my collection along with the file name. So I think that that's all I need to do here. You usually find the best bugs when you start to compile. So let's see if I can figure out what's going on with this error now. Okay, type unknown is not assignable. So the promised Boolean in photo galleries. Let's close this. 59. All right, I get a blob. This guy. Say photo returns a promise unknown. This guy thinks he's returning a Boolean. He's not. He's returning an any. Okay. So let's do the usual. Let's try to debug this thing, see if we got anything going on in here. We got nothing going on yet. Oh, sorry, I ghosted on my chat. Well, everything seems to be okay still in the chat. So, hold on a second here. I forgot to announce that I had started, so I'm just gonna throw a little social media tweet out there. So that's out there. All right, now let's get back to the live stream. Okay. So now let's run it and see what happens. So let's try and take a picture. All right, that's me. Hello. Let's try to take a photo. It's got the photo. All right, no default bucket found. Did you set the storage bucket property while initializing app? So no, I did not. So let's start there. See, we'll work through these one by one. When I set up my Firebase, as you can see right now, all I'm passing in is the project ID. And I also need to pass in the storage bucket. So I need to do that in my environment file. And my environment file is hidden because it has all my keys. So I'm going to pull that off screen. And I'm going to reset that and pull that from my Firebase. But let's get this. Let's change my initialize app function first to actually include it. And now let me go off screen a second here. Hold on. And check my file. See if it has the proper keys. Okay. Keys have been added. And now we're back. And let's try this again. Oh no. So the one thing I learned this last time. After you set the keys, you usually need to reinstall. You need to recompile. Let's see. Do I need to? Let's try and take a picture again. Save. I didn't get any errors. I don't see anything here. Let's see what happened. Let me check Firebase. Dun, dun. All right, so ignore all the other noise that's going on inside of here. This is just kind of a test project that I use for everything. If I look inside of photos, you can see it created my object. So there's my file name. It uploaded the data. There's a full path. There's the name of the file. There's the size, the time created, and the URL. And then if I go and I look at my storage, get my images, that's me. So it uploaded it. So everything worked fine. The question is, how come I don't see it on the UI? So let's take a look at the UI and see what's happening. The UI, hold on. Getting anybody yapping at me in my chat? Want to make sure that, okay. Want to make sure that's cool. All right. So, hold on. Okay. So I lost my path. So we know the file upload worked because I saw the image. Once again, here's the image. The question is, why is it showing up in my UI? So let's go look at tab 2. If we look at tab 2, we will see it's rendering data. We don't have data anymore. Our URL, we saved it to, let's go back to storage. This photos collection, document ID, file name, the path, the URL for the image is right here inside of upload data, that URL. So this should be photo dot upload data URL, I believe. Let's see if we get something different. And there's my photo. All right, so now let's try this one more time with a new picture. New picture, piece, photo. It didn't get my peace sign. Let's cancel. Let's do this again. Peace. All right, now I got it. All right, there's my photo with the piece. So it's saving. We have the data. All right, but now let's do something with this list page here, right? No, let's do our progress bar first, since we're getting our progress back. Let's show we're getting our progress back. Let's bring this guy back, move him over to the side. So my Firebase service now, does it send it back? Let's get to the bottom here. It sends back progress. So if I go to my gallery and I say, give me the progress, get my progress back, go down to the bottom here. I want to return that progress so I can get access to the template. And then now, oh, no. Yes. All right, so this is kind of where we're passing it down multiple layers. So I get progress back from my Firebase service. And then I take that same progress and I go down and I'm returning it from my use photo gallery service. It's probably a cleaner way to do this. That it can be more self-documenting. More self-documenting, is that a word? Yeah, but let's keep it this way for now. So now I go back to 2 and I come down here and I get progress from use photo gallery. And then since I want to use progress in my template, I need to return it down here. So now we put progress down. Am I in the right place? So now I put progress down here. Does that make sense? That'll be fine. Progress 2. Yeah. All right, so now I got progress down there. So now that it's down there, I can actually use it in my template. And so what we're going to do is right here, right below the header, I don't really like these large headers. So I'm going to remove this one. Because I don't like them. I don't like the look of that. I like that better. Okay, and then what we're going to do is right here at the top of my content, we're going to use Ion progress bar. And let's do this. Then I believe Ion progress bar has value. Yes, value. And what we want to do is, let's do this. Div. And then we're going to say v if progress, it's not equals 0, then show the progress bar. And to this guy, we need to interpret, we need to bind it. So we're going to bind it to progress. Problem is, I think that these files aren't that big, so I don't know how much progress we're going to actually see, but let's give it a try anyway. Let me make sure that I'm importing my progress and doing all the other stuff that I'm supposed to be doing properly. So first things first, let's import the progress bar. Let's expose it. And we got, views complaining. Can't resolve Ion progress bar. I just added it. Okay, now it's happy. Now we can cheat and test to make sure that that's working. So let's go down here. Let's say progress is 0.5. I think this will work. 0.5. See, so we have our progress bar showing across the top. Nothing kind of overwhelming, but just enough to show you that progress is happening. Let's put this back. Let's try another file upload. I don't know, this might fly by fast. So let's give it a go. Oh, see, that zipped by there really quickly, but you are getting some what's the word I'm looking for? Some indicator that an upload's happening. I suspect if you have bigger files, you'll see it show much longer, but we have that there. So let's format document. What else? The other thing is, if you remember before, when you deleted the image, it was only deleting. So let's look at our Firebase service. So if you look at delete photo, it's just removing it from the collection. So we have the same change as we did before with the save photo. We need 2 steps. The first step is to remove it from the Firebase storage, and then to remove it from Firestore. So we're going to kind of do the same sort of refactoring that we did above for save photo. So I'm going to say const use the exact same name, const delete photo, async asy. All right, I'm going to see if I'm probably going to end up going a little bit over an hour, but not too much over an hour. So that's all right. Hold on. Okay, very easy to go. So we know we need to do. So this is going to be interesting. We need the ID, but we also need the file path. All right, so let's set the path string. So let's kind of separate it, and we know that this has to happen. So let's take that. Also, I'm not doing a try catch inside of any of these functions, because if an error happens inside the await, it'll throw it to the parent, and the parent's catching exceptions, and it will render the results there. So that's why I'm just returning the results from the await. So we take the ID. So let's do this. Delete doc. Then up top we need to delete blob. Okay. Once again, let's go to our trusty Firebase documentation, which I often say is pretty good. It's pretty straightforward. They say to delete a file, get the ref, call delete, and you're happy. So that's kind of what we're going to do, except we're not going to use the if-then approach to promises. We're going to use the await. So I kind of refactored that a little bit, and it looks a little something like this. Where did it go? Save photo, delete photo. So to delete the Bob, we need to get the ref, and then I don't want to do that. And then from the ref, we are just going to do this: AIT storage, the storage ref dot child, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use the path. So we have the path of where the file is in the blob, where the blob is stored. So we just say file path delete. If it succeeds, then it's fine. If it doesn't, it'll throw the exception, and we'll get the exception caught in the parent. So that should delete that. And let's make sure, and then let's clean this up. We don't need any of the stuff on the end anymore. Deletes the photo. All right, let me check my YouTube, see if anyone asked any questions. So I'm kind of rolling along here. Hold on. Muno question: are these refs declared at the top of the file like class variables? All right, so let's start with Nuno. So first Nuno, the refs. Oh, I don't need to type it because I can speak it. So here's the interesting thing that you need to recognize: the refs that are. All right, so the refs that are outside of this, outside of the function, yes, they are class variables. Here's a way that I look at it: anything that you put outside of here is persist across multiple instances of the Firebase service. So these are variables that I want to persist across multiple instances. So anybody who imports this Firebase service will get access to these variables. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll wait for Nuno to respond, and then Tyler, how am I doing that? I have a plugin. I'll have to look through my extensions. I have it's one of my Visual Studio extensions that does that documentation thing for me. I'll figure out which one it is, and I'll also add that as a comment below. All right. Okay. So, Nuno, you didn't give me the thumbs up. No one gave me a thumbs up. So I'm going to assume that it's good until I see something else appear. Okay, so I'm getting an error. Firebase service. Save. Delete try-cons response. Expected 2 arguments. All right, yes. So now that I've changed how we actually delete a file, because now to delete a file, let's get to the bottom. To delete a file now, I need an ID and a path. I need to go to where I'm calling it. Let's find delete. That's the first instance. So now for delete photo, I was already getting the ID, but now I need the actual path. So remember the path is in photo dot upload data that, let me cheat and look because I don't remember. See, for those who don't use TypeScript, this is why you use TypeScript. Because if I was using TypeScript, it would let me know what objects are, not what objects, what properties are associated with this object. But since I don't know, I will go look back in my Firebase database and see what I named it. And now I got too many windows open, so I can't find it. So give me a second. I believe it's upload data file name. Hold on. It's upload data full path. All right. So now we have upload data. Let's save this guy. Are you complaining again? Oh no, I'm past that complaint. Get down here to the bottom. All right, let's do some cleanup. So this convert blob to base64 is not being used anymore. Fine. So we don't use this anymore. Let's get this out of here. Okay. Is platform is never used. Fine. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Resp is assigned, never use file systems assigned. That's fine. File system. We don't use this anymore, so let's get rid of that. Resp is assigned 82. We don't care, so let's get rid of that. All right. Now, are all of our errors gone? All of our errors are gone. So, and I've made my change to delete photo. So let's try and delete a photo. Let's delete this last one first. Let's see what we get. So photo's been deleted. It's gone. Okay, so we have our progress. We can add photos. We can delete photos. But the last thing we want to do is you want just to get a list of the photos from the document collection. So as you saw before, we're already loading all of the photos. So we're just going to take and modify tab 3 a bit to just give us the list of photos. So let's go over to tab 3. We cleaned everything up a bit. It's basically just, we're basically just looping through the content, right? So we are going to take the, so first we need to import our use photo gallery service. So if use photo gallery service actually contains the photos. So let's just copy this. And like you were saying, Nuno, because it's on the outside, anytime I call use photo galleries, I get any of the properties and the values that exist inside of them. So we're going to pull that over now, and we'll go to tab 3. You go here. No, not there. Oh, we need our setup. So let's go to our setup. Set up. Oh, sorry. It goes inside. No comma there. So we have our setup, but we do need a comma there. Okay, and then inside of our setup, I just copied that over. We get our use photo gallery here. Tab 3, use photo gallery. It's not imported. We can get the auto import. We only need photos. So now we get the photos, and then we need to return that. So this is just listing. We need to make sure we're going to add an ion item. And I think I add an ion. What else? I think I add a ion label. And let's take these, and we need to, since we're importing them, we also need to add them to our components that we're using. So let's put them on the end here. All right. So now we have those guys listed. And we were complaining about the ion item components are registered not used. So now let's actually use them. So here's our content. We're gonna, since we're getting past our hour time and I wanted to keep this to an hour, we're gonna cut and paste a little bit here, but I'll walk through what I'm doing. All right, so we're iterating through our photos that got passed to us from our use photo galleries. So we're use photo gallery gives us our photos. We're returning our photos so our template has access to them. So now in our template, we need the key, and then we're looping through. That's an interesting key. I think I can fix that. Well, let's see. And so then we're looping through each one, and then we get photo. And so just for now, before we display it, just to make sure everything's working, we're just going to say photo like this, and it should dump the object. So let's fix this. So there is the, since it's, let's take it out of a label for a minute. Let's leave, all right, let's leave the label there so it doesn't complain. And then let's put this underneath it. All right, so you can see the objects that are coming back. So I'm getting my objects back. We could change this here to ID, I believe. Yeah, so we don't use the whole thing. So we can set this as ID to be the key. Also, what I also like to pop into the dev tools every now and then for those who are on who don't really use them that often. So we can go in here, we can say view, and can't be property of ID undefined. That's interesting. Oh, the first time it's loaded. Is there not an ID? And then we can actually find the component that I'm in. And so if I say, I believe it's tab. Oh, that's the setup. That's the library. Let's get this out of here. So this is the page. So this is tab 3. This is the page. This is the component inside of it. I had tabs, outer bar. So you can kind of click down through everything. All right. This is the tab component. And so I can see the variables that I have access to. I have this photos. That's the only one that's getting returned from setup. And if I click down inside of here, yeah, I can see my whole object. I get, so for each object, I get the file name and the ID, and then I get all the upload data. And you can see there's two of them here. And then if I actually expand this object, look at the page, I haven't, the dev tools are still in beta all the way, but you can see this anonymous component right here, which I don't know why the Ionic components don't kind of return some sort of value that can help, but this is that list item because you can see the keys on it. So these are the keys that I've added right here. Okay, and there's two of them because I have two photos. So let's finish cleaning this up. Let's put this ID back. I think this is happening because why am I getting that error that first time? That is bugging me. Activity property ID of undefined. I think because I don't have any photos yet. Why would it be rendering them if there's no photos there? Let's just be safe. Let's do this. Because I'm being anal about the error. DV if. Did someone say something? Type at the top of the function. Oh, Nino's helping out. Thanks, Nino. So the if photo. The photos. So if I have photos, then render this list. Otherwise, don't. Let's see if that makes my error go away. Where is that? Is this DevTools or is this me? Let's clear out DevTools. Let's go back and I want to do that. No.
Uploading.
Sorry. Developer tools. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, it looks like that must be the developer tools that was causing that error. All right, let's get back to this. Get back to this. Hold on. All right, so let's clean up this UI a bit. So get this out of here. And then inside this ion label, we're just going to kind of render out some information. I've done this before, so I'm just going to cut and paste and copy this in here. And so what now we get the information for the files that was uploaded. This is the additional metadata that was actually stored in a document collection. So here we have all the photos. We can put the title and do some other nice things here. And then here we actually have the additional information on it. Normally what we would do is kind of render a thumbnail inside of here, which is could be another exercise to store a thumbnail. So let me show you, go back. Another pattern might be is inside of here is at this top level to just store a small thumbnail that's like 800 by 800, actually even smaller than that, 600 by 600, that could be saved as a string, as opposed to like storing all these bytes, because before all these bytes were being saved. All these bytes are being saved inside of this document collection, which is inappropriate because if I just want a list of the information, why do I have to download all of the bytes? And especially with a platform like Firebase, where you're going to be paying for all the data you're transferring, you don't want to transfer all that data down unless you really need it. So like I said, that's a strategy that we've used before, is just to store a thumbnail image inside of this collection, render the thumbnail in the list, and only show the photos on the full screen page. I think that is a wrap for what I wanted to do today. I came in a little bit under an hour. Thank you for the folks who stopped by. If you have any last minute questions right now, I'll answer some questions. And then by the end of the day today, I will post the source code at a link at the bottom of this video for anyone who wants to come by to check it out. Thanks for the folks who stopped by. And if you have any questions, shoot. I'll wait around for a couple minutes and take a sip of my coffee. Oh, actually, let's try one more thing and see how we, since we're still on, and this is supposed to be an Ionic capacitor project. Let's see if we can compile this guy and get it to run on device, since we are capacitor folks, right? So the first thing to get it on capacitor is, let's do an Ionic build, so we can get the build directory created. So I don't think we have it on here yet. Actually, we do have it. So, but let's just rebuild it. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Let's try to deploy to. Going to try and deploy to. Okay. All right, so that build's done. Now let's do a Ionic cap run iOS. Okay, I might try to get crazy and actually see if I can run this on my phone. But let's try the simulator first. Okay, stuff out of the way. All right. Where's my simulator? Simulator. It's not up yet. Let's go. Okay, here it comes. All right. We've got the old iPod 7th gen simulator. Let's see what we get. Okay, so it's at least it's loading the data. We have our list. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, that looks like it is bigger. So we have our photos, we have our list. Let's see if I can take a picture. Come on. Now we're getting the beach ball. The beach ball is never a good look with an Apple. Okay, yeah, so here we go. So since I can't take a photo on a simulator or emulator, I need to take a picture from the, what? Camera not available. I said no. Come on. Why did it do that? Also, it's taking a long time to spin this camera up whenever I click on it. What's going on with that? And I'm not getting any output down here in my debug string. Okay, I might have to actually try to deploy this on my device and see if I get some better results. This beach ball is bothering me. Let me try and close some browser windows and see if that helps, because you know the browser is always, let me put this in there. You know the browser's always messing with you. Yes. All right. Okay. So I got the, let's pick from photos. I can pick a photo. See the upload that we got across the top there. There's my image. Let's go to my list. I got my, This is why a thumbnail would be helpful, because then I would know which one it is. But let's look at the time. So this one right here at 12/20/1906 is probably my latest image. But let's go back and let's do one more time just to show that it's working on device. We're going to say from photos. We're going to do the waterfall. Keep a lookout for the progress bar across the top. Come on. I don't want to select it. I want to take it. Why is it not working? Oh, there it goes. Yeah, this is kind of for more you guys out there to do the CSS to kind of figure out a way to kind of style this appropriately to get a better looking UI. But the images are coming across. It is working on the simulator, so we're able to take photos. They're uploading to Firebase. Let's see if my delete works properly. Delete. The images are getting deleted properly. Let's make sure that they're really going away. That's not what I want. It's weird trying to get the simulator to... How do you see all your... That's not what I want either. And so long as I use one of these phones. Well, now my simulator seems to be wanting to bug out on me for some bizarre reason. But so I'm going to wrap it here. We showed the application running on a device. We were able to upload the images. We were able to delete the images. We saw the progress bar working. We've accomplished things we wanted to do. The one thing you notice that's missing is authentication is not included. Just so you know, I loosened up the Firebase rules on my database, which allowed anyone to do read writes, and that's why it works. You obviously don't want to do that. As I said, I will save the source code. I will upload it. I will provide a link. And thanks everyone who stopped by for the live stream. Click 2 times at home top bar. No. Oh. Oh, there you go. For some reason, it's just running really slow. I think it's my emulator. So I'll try to figure out what it is later, but everything's running slow on this thing. But thanks, Nuno, for the suggestion. Oh, there we go. So let's get that out of there. And then the name of my app is still kind of grayed out for some bizarre reason. It looks like it terminated. But like I said, I'm going to wrap here. It's been an hour and change. Thanks to everyone who kind of was patiently through this whole thing. Give some feedback on what else you would like to see on other streams. I'm going to try and do a stream at least once a week or every other week. If you want to see something else other than Vue, I'm mostly focusing on VueJS and React. Leave a comment and let me know. Thanks, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye now.